Yeah, he probably has.
Thank you.
Whoever this is, a lot of inspiration.
We're going to do hers right after. Here we are. It is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Meyersdale Borough Council. This is our March regular meeting. Those in the chambers and those who are watching now or maybe later on our YouTube channel. So we'll start off with the flag ceremony, and then Olivia is going to offer the opening prayer. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, we ask for wisdom, patience, and humility as we gather to serve our community tonight. Guide our words and decisions so they reflect fairness, respect, and a sincere desire for the good of all who call this town home. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Olivia. And Olivia is going to stay a little bit, but she has some other things school-related, so we're going to move her up a little bit in the agenda, but she'd like to stay with us a little bit. So with that in mind, the roll call, Patty, please.
Mr. Ackerman.
Here.
Mr. Bayer.
Here.
Mr. Christner.
Here.
Mrs. Nagy. Here. Mr. Irwin.
Here.
Mr. Onion.
Here.
Mr. Smith is absent. Solicitor Valentine.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
Olivia Baker. Here. No policeman, and Brian Riker.
Here.
Thank you, Patty. The minutes, we had only one meeting. Our regular meeting was 1 month ago, February 10th, 2026. It was at 6 p.m. And I had gone through the minutes. They're pretty extensive. I could have missed something, but let's discuss the minutes. And if there's no corrections or additions or changes, we'll ask to approve. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Ron, in a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Clarence. All those in favor of approving the minutes say aye. Opposed? That is unanimous. So we'll start, Clarence, with the bills and finance. Take it away.
Okay, in general fund, 32,754.81. Highway aid fund, 166,123.06. Flood control, 76,693.57. Refuge fund, 35,147.30. Electric fee fund, 2,718.06. Pavilion rental fund, 359.49. Franklin Cent fund is 5,538.95. Fireworks fund is 613.86. Farmers market is 165.48. Local service tax, 26,085.34. Community center fund, 14,087.01. General fund money market, 266,775.67. And grant app, 13,539.09.
And what did you say highway aid was?
$266,123.06.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the Camp Cadet sponsor, for captain, they want $1 to $249. Major is $250 to $499. First colonel is $500 to $999, and colonel is $1,000 plus. So what do we want to do with that?
Did we donate last year, Patty?
They usually donated like 250.
I was gonna say that. I think I would throw that out as a beginning point, $250.
I'll make a motion for $250.
Thank you, Jeff, and Clarence will second it. All those in favor say aye. Unanimous. Opposed? Unanimous.
Did you say how much the bills to be paid was, Clarence? I missed that.
I wasn't sure either if we did the bills.
Is it? Oh, I didn't know. You want me to read the whole line of that?
I don't think you have to read
There's only
each.
two, general fund, 8,256.82, and refuge, 17,332.31. Everything else, zeros.
I'll make a motion that we pay the bills.
Thank you, Bob.
Second.
Karen seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That is unanimous again. Anything else? Clarence, anything else in the,
No.
you're done?
That's it, my report.
Okay. Any questions of Clarence? Okay, we go to guests, the pre-registered guests. First, the garden club.
Ladies, and I would like to thank you again for this opportunity. I had given out some packets with estimates and designs for the floral containers that we were thinking of. And there's prices and pictures. And I've gone to several different places and looked at several different designs. And the garden club was discussing, we would be willing to pay for the liners if the borough would pay for the planters that the liners go into. We had talked to Tim Bittner, he's a local gentleman here in town, and he has a design on the back 2 pages there, I believe it is. Or maybe, no, not here. That's, Mr. Mungan has it. And he has 2 different designs there. So it would be up to you all to decide which design you would like. And I believe his estimate was $450. And that's completed with 2 coats of tongue oil on those. So that would be our estimate for the planter, deciding or depending on which liner we went with, our club, the garden club, would pay for the liners.
How many are you?
6. We have 2 down here and 4 in the center of town.
So, to make this simple for me, what's the price per
It would be-
unit?
It would be $2,700 for the borough, for the 6 tubs.
Okay,
$450. Did you find the picture, Jeff? Of the-
I saw some pictures.
Yeah,
Okay,
that one. It is a wooden, the description is there.
So it's cedar, so it should hold up.
Yeah, it's red cedar, 1x4s, I believe it is. And the dimensions are all on there, 2 different designs. One has the 2x4s on the outside, the other one is just the nice flush design. Did you find it, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, you did, okay. And so that's what he came up with. He checked with the treated lumber, and he was afraid as wet as it comes in, that it twists and bows. So he went over and decided to go with the red cedar instead. So he looked at the decking type, and that's extremely expensive. So he came up with that. And So we wanted to submit that to you and see what your thoughts were.
Well, you know what? I would just say the work that the Garden Club does is insurmountable. I mean, you keep the town looking nice. I know I walk there in the mornings and it makes you feel good to look at these flowers and I see different individuals taking turns watering the plants. I mean, I think we should do it as your president making a recommendation. I mean, they work hard and they want to have something nice that they can be proud of, which the way it is now, we're proud of it. But I would be in favor of supporting their request, but let's have some other input.
I believe, I was just gonna mention, I believe that Jody has talked to you or texted you concerning grant money.
Yeah.
There was some available.
Yeah. So I think we would have the beautification money through the Lucent Fund that we could put towards it right now. My question is it something that you really want to do for this season? Or could it wait until the fall or next spring? The reason I asked Michelle Beener with Aspire.
Oh.
And through the Southern Alleghenies Foundation, we could apply for a grant, and that's twice a year. But I'm all for getting them if you want them this year. That's my vote. If we want to try to get grant money, we do have an option there. It's up to council. How much are the liners?
Well, anywhere from like $19 up to, some of those on Wayfair was like $169. The ones that I looked at was very nice. It was up at Country Seed and Supplies. It's the Amish up there at Hidden Valley. It is a poly resin material and it's only $22 for a 24 by 24, but it's out of the heavy poly resin. The ones at Lowe's, they're the heavy plastic. Only one was the poly resin. So fiberglass, they checked, but it was already split. I think it's in one of the pictures. It's split already, so.
I would like to see us pay for the whole thing, the liners and the containers, because they fundraise for the flowers and do everything else.
You know, we do our mum sales and our wreath sales to pay for the flowers, the soil, and the liners, that type of thing. But the ladies, we all water. We all take turns and we have our little assigned holes.
It was my understanding at the last presentation that the material we have now, the pots and everything, aren't in that great a shape, and that you wanted to move forward this year. And I think we should forget the grant and move forward with it, would be my suggestion. But I'd ask for Karen made her comment. Let's have some input. If not, could we have a motion either to approve this or do something else?
I'm gonna make a motion, we approve this year, let them go ahead and get it.
The liners and the pots, we'll pay for it. Were you
I'll
gonna second
second
it?
that.
Thank you, Karen. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I'll be watching.
How long will it take for him to make all 6?
He asked me when we would like to have them done. We told him for Memorial Day weekend. So if we could have them done, our goal is to plant red, white, and blue. We're doing red and white flowers with American flags in them this year. For the 250th birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Stay as long as you want, but if you have other things on, you don't have to stay. Okay, Kevin Yoder is a guest. He had texted me that this involves the flood control and the upper project. As most of you know, we were able to get this grant, $225,000, switched to allow us to clean the upper basin. And Kevin has other plans this evening. He also said he was not prepared to give a report tonight because the weather's been so bad and he couldn't do the aerial photography or the aerial views. So I said, well, Kevin, we have this done at the April meeting, and he seemed to think that he would. So that's Kevin's report. Chad Signs, Somerset County providing building code services, county uniform construction correspondence. How are you tonight, Chad?
I thought the meeting's at 7, so I hustled to get here. I was on the baseball field. So I'm
You made it?
muddy, yeah. So, yeah, it's this is something that's kind of been talked about over the last course of the year is building code agencies in Somerset County. There seemed to be a little bit of a upheaval in some of the agencies. And so the county's been approached by multiple municipalities to look into and research whether this was feasible for the county to undertake some of these tasks. And Indiana County does the same thing. They, out of their planning commission, they run a building code agency, and they do about half their county. They're pretty similar to us in a lot of regards. So as of, whenever each municipality would agree to it, the county would offer building code services. I think right now you guys use PMCA for your building codes, and then you probably also use PMCA for your nuisance ordinances, tall grass, things of that nature. So the county's going to offer both those services at no cost to the municipality. I dropped off a packet today for Patty. I think she's probably already out at lunch, so she can circulate that. In our packet is our cover letter, some business cards of the individuals involved, a intermunicipal agreement between the municipality and the county. Hey, we'll do this for you. And then the fee schedule from All Safe. They would be our building code inspector, plan reviewer, things of that nature. And then we also have one in here called Code Compliance Solutions. They would be our option for code enforcement for various codes that you may have. So there's a couple different differences here. Right now, if you have a building that's being built with no permits, can you walk me through your process, how you deal with it right now?
So right now we contact PMCA and report it, yeah.
And what happens from there? They send you a bill, probably had 3-4 hours in the paperwork. They send the borough a bill of $150, $200. We're gonna do that for free. Our employees are already on the payroll at the taxpayer's expense. So there won't be any more of that. We have a contract for a 5% reimbursement to any municipality that signs up. I don't know what your arrangement is now. It's gonna create a lot of uniformity. Most of the people coming through our office now are already looking for building codes. We get to send them up to the Georgian place. This also helps from a commercial development into things because they're already going through our office for most things. So it creates a nice cohesive arrangement. And we're struggling at the county to get a lot of reports with PMCA going through all the changes that they're going through right now. We aren't getting the reports that we need. And so it's just from a holistic view, I'm sure a lot of the solicitors have talked, like this has been coming for a little bit now. So,
I mean, just to give you an idea, not this municipality, but one of the other ones I represent, they had an issue with no building permit, and just the first inspection was almost $1,000. Yeah, and the whole process ended up being over $2,000.
and I mean, I've run into municipalities, they find a building being built somewhere, usually pretty remote, and they turn the person in, PMCA racks up $700, $800 bill, and then the person just decides to not move forward.
Yep.
So now the borough gets stuck with that, and you see no tax revenue out of that, no way to recoup your money, you just have to eat it. And so it seems like an unfair process, so we're trying to solve some problems. We're just offering a solution.
I'll give some feedback. We have an open permit now, and so we have had a really good relationship with PMCA. I love it. Their inspectors are great, all of that. But we started trying to get an extension in December. They sent paperwork to my old email address. I had no idea, because I changed it because of some email issues with the Borough Council. And literally, I think I got my documents like a week or two ago. And so Ed, I think, works part-time now. There are no other staff there. So you're dealing with Chambersburg or Bedford for any administrative things. And, you don't know those people. It's, like I say, they've been a great company, I think, for us, but we're having challenges.
PMCA was sold about a year and a half ago to a national company, and it's presented some challenges. And I don't think the people boots on the ground here in Somerset County are doing bad. They're good people. I deal with them every day. I think it's more the disconnect, the headquarters down in Chambersburg. Seems to be the
I agree with that.
So we're gonna, instead of PMCA, which does everything for us, now if we go with the county, and I like that idea, then you would have two separate companies, is what you're saying. And
Yeah.
could you give the names of those
Yeah,
again?
and they're in that package. So the one is AllSafe. And AllSafe, they're gonna be our primary, heavy lifting agency that's gonna do the UCC compliance, the building code. They do plan reviews, they do inspections, they do all of that. They're gonna have an office in the county building to coordinate their efforts. We also have another agency that is gonna do code enforcement called Code Compliance Solutions. And they're gonna mainly handle the nuisance ordinances, but they also have the ability to do the building code stuff too. So we have some fail safes, we have some backups, we should be covered more than enough. Right now, what I'm hearing from some of the people who work at PMC is they're covering such a huge area. They're covering a tri-county area. And so these agencies are gonna be mainly Somerset County. They may kind of go a little bit into the periphery, and it's mainly Somerset County.
So what are you asking tonight? Is this just a presentation?
It's a presentation.
You can maybe make a motion of intent that we wish to continue negotiations with this?
So I included a model resolution, talk it over with your solicitor. It's in that packet, and I brought an extra packet if you'd like one. And talk it over. There's no rush on this. There's no timeline here. It's just something we're offering that we would like to got out sooner. It's just kind of timing wise this worked out as well as it did.
I had run into an individual, Jeff Schaefer. Is he involved with this at all?
He is part of that code compliance solutions, yes.
And he would be the one that would not issue the violations, but they would do the permitting, or do I have it reversed?
Switched. He would be the one doing your nuisance ordinances, and he, obviously, where he originates from.
Right.
From PMCA. So I think you're seeing more of that. PMCA is just kind of splintering away, forming their own factions and their own companies. Seems to be what's happening.
So you'll guarantee we'll be happy with this?
I guarantee nothing, but will it make everyone's life a little bit easier? I think so. I mean, it's one-stop shopping, so to speak.
Should be more uniform.
Yeah, a little easier to keep track of, so that kind of thing. But feel free to reach out. Our business cards are there,
Can I ask a question?
of course.
Yes.
Zoning, will you do zoning?
Yes, we would do zoning if you were.
The Garrett Borough asked if you could take time, one of the
course.
meetings to go.
Yes, of course.
See, they have good interest.
Yeah. See, I'm on a circuit tour with all of them right
I
now.
figured
So,
that.
yeah. So,
Well, what Karen said, I echo. I mean, we've had a great relationship with PMCA, but I definitely would be interested in exploring this. And at least maybe we could put this on the agenda, Patty, and we can discuss it at our April meeting. Are there any other questions for Chad that you want to ask?
I saw that packet anyway, but I didn't realize it was from you and I got busy and
Oh, you're
didn't
good.
get a
No
copy.
problem. I
Can you
dropped it
send
off.
that around to us tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'd like to review it in greater detail. Well, any other questions for Chad? Thanks for coming over. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay as long as you want.
Am I able to give a copy of that to Garrett?
Yeah.
also?
Yeah, well, actually, I think they all went out in the mail today.
Okay.
So they should get them, but if you need one,
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chad, for coming. Okay, that ends the registered guest. Public comment. Everybody, we have public comment now. Anybody here has anything to say? You have 5 minutes. Public comment is now open. Yes,
So on the zoning application,
yes.
I just have a question about, would you be involved in zoning ordinances with barking dogs and those kinds of things?
we would enforce whatever ordinance the borough has. So if
So
they
we could
have,
put one
yeah,
back?
Mhm.
That'd be nice.
so
Okay.
whatever they have,
Thank
we
you.
would enforce.
Is that it, Deb?
For now.
Okay. Public comment? Come on up. Give us your name and
I can get all this in 5 minutes.
Set
My
the
name's
timer.
Albert.
Be fair. Set the timer.
Yeah.
ready, go.
My name is Albert Neblock. I'm the owner of Little Big Shots Fireworks. And because I am constrained on time, I'm going to read what I have to say. The company that's performed your fireworks, I own the company that's performed your fireworks displays for the past 25 years. I had the privilege of watching your last month's meeting on YouTube. I was watching because a group that I belong to has made a donation to the Meyersdale Fireworks Fund for a number of years. The group decided not to make a donation this year, as one of the members there stated that Meyersdale were considering hiring Chris Harbaugh for the display to celebrate this year's 4th of July and the 250th anniversary of the United States. The group felt that this was slighting me, so they decided not to donate the money. I responded that I appreciated their loyalty, but the only reason you may not want to donate is because Chris Harbaugh has no insurance, and this will make your organization liable as a contributor. They hadn't thought about that, but they agreed that this may be the case. While listening to your meeting, I found one of the comments made by one of the planners was that Chris Harbaugh had performed the display for Meyersdale Light Up Night. Additionally, a comparison was made between the Little Big Shot show and that of Chris Harbaugh's, and I roughly quote, the Little Big Shots charges $12,000 for 25 minutes, and Chris Harbaugh says he can do the same and will last 45 minutes for $9,000. I also stated that Chris Harbaugh it was also stated that Chris Harbaugh did not have insurance and the borough would have to insure it. I'm here tonight to point out several things that you need to keep in mind going forward with this decision to change fireworks vendors. To start with, I'll address the timeline for the show, 25 minutes versus 45 minutes. The comparison is a bit of a moot point as it tells you nothing of the value of the show. I've done shows for 39 years. I've done so in a multitude of situations that vary greatly. Some sponsors specify the length of their show or their display, and one such show I did was $22,000 done in 5 minutes. Another show was $30,000 done in 12 minutes, and the worst case was an $8,000 show in 2 minutes. The numbers as far as fireworks used didn't change in any of these shows. What changed was the speed in which the fireworks were shot. Generally, in the case of the Meyersdale show, we like to fire in an average 1 fireworks shell every 3 seconds. It is a nice pace and avoids dead air and keeps the excitement of the crowd. If I slow down the pace, sure, I can make the display last 45 minutes, an hour, maybe 2. But Meyersdale fireworks have always been done at the same shell every 3-second pace, and I've always tried to maintain that. Another point to consider regarding the length of the show comparison is cost of the fireworks themselves. If you're going to compare 2 fireworks companies and their bids, you need to know what each company is using as a quality product. Like any product, you can buy the Cadillac brand or the Ford Festiva brand. When the performance of an explosive device is paramount for the crowd and shooter's safety, to me, the Cadillac brand is worth the extra price paid. All my fireworks have double time fuses to be certain that the firework will do what we expect it to do upon firing. I haven't had any shells malfunction since using the brand I use, and I've been using it for 30 years. Imported shells used on our displays are priced as follows. Shells are sold based on the size of the tube they are shot from. I don't shoot shells smaller than 2.5 inch, although they do manufacture smaller shells for commercial use. I can purchase for your show 2 2.5 inch shells for the cost of 1 3-inch shell. I can purchase 2 3-inch shells for the cost of 1 4-inch shell, and so on. If I load your show up with big numbers to make a 45-minute show, shooting a large number of tiny shells to meet that 45-minute timeline can make or not so for an impressive display. Bigger shells are much more enjoyable to the spectators. Their large breaks fill the sky, and long duration effects make for a much more spectacular show. For Meyersdale, I try to make a nice mix that will entertain the crowd and not fill time. Additionally, we use multiple shot cakes. Multiple shot cakes are a bunch of tubes fused together, anywhere from 50 to 1,000 tubes to perform a certain amount of time.
1 minute to go. 1 minute to go.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't get it in, but I will. So I'm just going to throw this out there real quick. And I supply the insurance for your display, which is insured by an insurance broker through Lloyd's of London. I'm generally charged 10% of the cost of the display. So your $12,000 show cost me $1,200 to be insured. The real insurance designed to cover companies that perform fireworks displays. Secondly, China no longer exports salutes or noise at the end of the show larger than 1.2 inches. These larger salutes are still sold out there by unscrupulous companies and sold under different names to cover the illegal exportation into the U.S. Over the years, I've built my reputation on a finale. This requires a 3-inch salutes, and as a manufacturer, I make them. They are however expensive. Meyersdale uses 70 of these 3-inch salutes at a cost of $964. You also get the lampares or the big fireballs at the end, which cost $244, and the wall fire, which cost me about $200 to set up, with a total cost of $2,652, almost approaching the difference in price between Harball and the Little Big Shots. As such, fireworks are considered to be an explosive by the U.S. government. Professional fireworks are stored, transported, and used accordingly. My pickup truck outside I used to bring your display to town cost me $24,000 to insure for federally required liability policy coverage of up to $5 million. This is required by federal DOT when transporting fireworks for commercial displays. I personally have to maintain a commercial driver's license with hazmat endorsement, regular physical exams, background checks required by Homeland Security, and I have to register every year as a hazardous materials carrier in the United States through Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration.
Okay, I left you actually go another minute over, so I think we have to stop you. I think though, questions, or Mark has a question he'd like to ask.
You mentioned about the value, or I don't know if that's the proper way to say it, with the shells with safety.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like when they're in the air, when they're on the ground, or all
Yeah, when they're
together?
in the air. The shells, I said two time fuse. It's really hard to explain this to people really quick. But so every shell is a time fuse. When you fire the shell, it's lit, it burns, goes up, explodes. Mine only have 2. I pay extra for that. The chance of 1-time fuse not lighting is 1 in 500. The chances of 2-time fuses not lighting is 1 in 10,000. So I'm pretty assured that they're going to go up, do what they have to do, and not come back down and lay out there in that farmer's field or in the flood control dike for some kid to find later.
They are a federally controlled explosive.
Yes. Yeah, that's where I was headed with all that. It cost me a lot of money to be in this business. And that's your difference between 9,000 and 12,000.
Mr. Harbaugh has declined to do this show, okay? He said he's not going to do it. Now, Jeff, he's in charge of the committee, had met with someone else. If you want to hang on just a little bit, and if council will allow me, as soon as we go through, we'll discuss that, since, I mean, you've given us great service for many, many years. So if you want to listen to this, I would, if council will allow me to move that up on the agenda, and we can discuss that as soon as we finish public comment. Olivia has to go. We're going to do president, mayor's report, and then we'll go into this if council's okay with that, since he's here. Are we okay with that? So just hang on. We'll get back to you.
Okay.
Sorry I didn't recognize you.
I recognize you.
It's because of this. Okay,
You're long hair.
right. Okay, public comment continues. Yes, ma'am. Wendy?
Yeah, I'm just curious as to where we stand with the ADA family bathroom, considering it's been pretty near a year that we started this journey. And we're coming up on one of the biggest uses of this building for the Maple Festival, and we have not even gotten, it seems like, anything done. So I'd like to understand where we are in the process and when we have an executed date of completion.
Okay, we are actually going to bid that out tonight. And does somebody have the actual dates of the project?
The dates that
March?
I had estimated. So if you bid it out tonight, we have the bid the Monday before the next meeting. The bids in. We would open the bids at the meeting in April. And I believe I had a proposed start date. I think it's of May 1st. I'd have to look. I think it's May 1st, or maybe June 1st. I can't remember.
And an estimated date of completion.
And I said it should be done by the end of July.
Yeah. So I'm just curious because I feel like we kicked the can down the road on this a lot. And I know it's not important enough to you guys, but it's important enough to me and my family and those who utilize this building and need that accessibility. So I'd be appreciative if we could get the ball rolling a little bit faster than it is.
Do we have the door?
I will.
Thank you very much. Public comment continues. Anybody else?
I think so too.
Last Chance Saloon, Eli, you were great in that show.
You are.
How did you remember all those lines?
A lot of memorizing, a lot of studying.
And spit them off that fast? Fantastic. It was way back I was in them, but you really were fantastic, as was everyone else. Okay. Now we'll continue. Okay, if council will allow, we're going to do Olivia. She can do her report.
Okay, here's the March events for the high school. March 5th was the Camp Cadet Assembly at 1 p.m. for grades 7 through 9, along with College Board field trips that day. March 6th was the National Aviary Trip, which our EnviroCon group went on. March 14th is the SATs from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the MGI. March 18th to the 20th is Regional Band. March 19th is the FFA County Public Speaking Contest. Along with March 19th is the Conwell Memorial Medical Center Tour and Life Skills Trip for SCTC, and also the third quarter ends that day. March 23rd is the FFA SLLC Conference. March 25th is Spring Community Camp for the Maple Festival, which Student Council will go on along with Honor Society and EnviroCon. And then the 30th is our rain date, and March 27th is the NOCTI exam. And then something else cool going on this week is this Thursday, myself, along with some other seniors and juniors, are going on the Senator for a Day trip, which is in Bedford, and we get to add the senators, and we get to go over bills and learn how the Senate works, so I'm excited for that.
Thank you. You have a lot going
I
on.
know, busy month.
So like I say, you're free to go. Is that okay? We give you enough time. She didn't want to rush out of here right away, but she does have things to do. So we appreciate the nice prayer you give and your service. We had a mix-up last
I
month.
know, I didn't know, we started an hour early.
You should have come in anyways.
I came in, I got scared, I really thought it started.
Anyway, I wondered what happened to you, but, okay, thanks, Olivia. You take care. Okay, President's report, I have none, Mr. Mayor.
I only have one thing. We're back to this time of year where people are utilizing the lovely playground we have, which is awesome. But just remember, the pavilion down here has to be rented through Miss Patty. There's no loitering signs down there for a reason. I mean, as everybody can attest, we've dealt with numerous things of vandalism, and, you know, there's a certain group that feels that it doesn't apply to them. They've been warned on multiple occasions. Speaking with police officers last night, the warnings are now over. So no loitering in the pavilion. If you are loitering, you will be cited. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sure.
Shane, the playground equipment, that has stuff posted.
At dark, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, the playground actually closes itself, the entire at dusk, which also, if you were in there, and that is also subject to a citation. Right.
So I have another question.
Sure.
Do those lights come on above the basketball court or both? Can they be down there when them lights are on?
I don't believe so.
Which lights do you mean? The lights that go around the whole thing are set on a timer that adjusts itself to the sunrise and sunset. Those are the lights that are the whole way around the playground. The other ones are just daylight there's no switch for those.
If the lights go on, are they entitled to be on the basketball court? Playing basketball, when there's light, they can see.
Park is closed at dusk.
Okay, very good.
Very good.
The lights are there mainly for safety.
Okay.
For security, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll sneak one more in here. Emergency Management Coordinator, nobody here. So let's go, if everybody's okay with this, since we'll go ahead and go with the Meyersdale Community Events. Jeff, you had talked to another fireworks outfit. You can give your presentation. We can discuss it. As long as you don't go too crazy, we can go back and forth maybe, but your report, please.
Okay, Shane and Bob and I met this guy on Saturday. He's from Acme Fireworks Company, and he talked to us, and said he can do a good show for, $9,000 for like a 20 to 25 minute show. And me and Bob and Shane like what he had to offer, and up to the council, what do you want to do?
I got a question if I can.
Mhm.
Albert, what, 3 inch, that is the largest you shoot, correct?
No.
You go
I
higher
can
than,
shoot to 16, but you're only getting 4s. I think some 5s here.
okay,
I don't know.
that's what I was wondering. So there is some 4s and a couple 5s maybe.
Questions?
I have another question. So I guess my question would be, Albert, is this guy that is from Acme, what is his name? Adam something, I don't know. I don't know. But he claims that he could put on a really good show, 20 to 25 minute show for between $9,000 and $10,000. My question to you, I guess, would be, and I know you said that it all depends on the time in between the shots. You know, what I am asking, I guess, is can we get a nice show from you? A 20, 25 minute show for $9,000 to $10,000.
Well, I ain't gonna say well. It's not only just the time between shows, but it's, so I don't know what this guy's doing. I could, and the point of telling you the cost of shells. So, if there's 700 shells in your show, 3 through 4 inch, say there's 200 4-inch, I can turn that into 400 3-inch. I can turn it into 800 2.5s. And we can sit here and shoot fireworks for 3 hours solid. But the reason why I have the show put together the way I have it put together is it's nice. These big shells are like, wow, they're something to see.
I agree.
And so, I mean, can I do it for 10? I'll do it for 7. But it's not gonna be near the display that you have at the present.
Right.
One of my paragraphs in here, when you got, it's interesting.
Hey, Albert, could you come up here? So we're taping the meeting so everybody can hear. We get complaints.
If I'm mumbling, tell me. I have hearing aids and so on.
We're not mumbling, but our microphone's right here. So.
Oh, okay. So, where's the head of this? So, yeah, I mean, the number of fireworks that we shoot can be changed around to adjust. I've always not the way I wanted to do it here because it was 25 minutes long. I tried to get between 20 and 25 minutes, and I tried to do the most number of bigger shells that I could do. I try to keep the amount of salutes or noise in the end of the finale about the same every year because that's what you have come to expect. If we want to adjust it like that, I can adjust it. We can make it a $7,000 show. My $7,000 show that I typically do for people lasts 12 to 14 minutes. So I don't like charging you $12,000, but where you're at, that's what it costs, And this guy, I don't know him. I've heard of him. I think he's not 2 years old. His company. Is he good? I don't know. Is he going to do you a good show? I don't know.
Let me just, so this doesn't go on too long. So your price is 12,000, and what's this guy gonna do?
9,000. Did he say how many shots, what size?
I don't think that's apples to apples necessarily at all.
No, well, he didn't.
Does he have
Ron,
insurance?
You know what?
He just
I'm gonna
said
just
20
blurt this out and, oh, go
You
ahead.
say he did.
He didn't give us any specifics on anything. He did say that he would have some 4-inch, 5-inch in the show, but that was basically the only, and he talked about cakes. I heard you say something about cakes.
Yeah, cakes. There's a cake that lasts 7 minutes.
Right.
I could buy 2 of them, 3 of them, and you got your show.
Right.
And it would cost me $600, and I could charge you $9,000 for it.
Right.
But in the end, did you get a good show? I don't know. And this is what I meant to say when I stood up and came up here. When you guys need a new police vehicle, you know what make, what brand, what, accessories you want. You present that to different car dealers and they come forward with the bid. And Ford is Ford, Chevy, Explorer is an Explorer. It's easy. Fireworks, it's all over the board. And I can snowball you, or he can snowball you, or Chris Harbaugh can snowball you and tell you you're gonna do this for this amount of money. But in the end, I guarantee it, if you spend 12,000, you're gonna get the same show you got last year, the year before, the year before.
Well, Albert, we've always been pleased with your work.
Yeah.
In fact, who's the only borough, 2020, had fireworks during COVID? Maybe there was enough, it was us, remember? You and I talked.
Yeah.
The town was packed that night. So we're talking, we know his quality, we know what work he does. This other fellow, we have no clue, 9,000, maybe 10. I mean, I just think, I'm only one vote, but I think we should, and you can talk to Karen, but I would be in favor of just staying with him and keeping the show the same. I think we can come up with the funds somewhere along the line, but that's just me. Karen wants to retort? Go
I
ahead.
would like to make the motion that we stay, people come from all over. I've been down on the field a number of years with community events. They come from the Maryland side of the, up there. They come from Rockwood. They come from Somerset. We have the best show around. We hear that all the time, and that's you. And I agree. If we need to raise some money, we raise some money. But my motion is we stay with Little Big John.
Thank you, Karen.
I second that.
Okay, now, before, we have a first and second, any discussion before we vote? We'll do a roll call vote, but any discussion before we vote?
Yes. Is there any way we could extend it another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever?
Because it's the 250th.
It's a 250.
Yeah, well, we could do it one or two ways. Here we go again, down the same slippery rabbit hole. I can shoot more fireworks for more money. I can take some of the 4 inches and turn them into 3s, or we can slow it down. All those things will work, but
It shouldn't
it's
take
your
much for an
choice.
extra 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
take 1 or 2 of the big ones away and put it.
well, there's, so, the long parties, the fireballs at the end are $50 a piece.
I'll let you ask, hold on.
However you want to do that is up to you, and you discuss it, let me know up to a week before the 4th, but I will tell you this, I've seen a lot of fireworks displays, and done a lot of fireworks displays in 39 years. Long length is not always the best. Sometimes, the kids start getting restless, and then mama gets restless.
Okay, hold on. Whoa. Okay, Clarence had a question and it was answered. We do have a motion. We're gonna vote that the show basically is the same for $12,000. That's the motion. Now, yes, you have a question, Deb.
Comment. It sounds like you kept your price $12,000 for multiple years and everybody else's prices, I think, not groceries, I'm talking just in general, prices have gone up exponentially. So have you been keeping your prices about the same?
I'm gonna be real honest with you. Yeah, if I kept doing this, you're gonna get a company like that, which we have nothing about. If you had Zambelli come like you used to a long time ago, your minimum would be 30 grand.
Yeah, so I'm saying this seems like an absolute bargain to me versus the fact that he's been giving us the same show and not increasing the price.
I think we agree with you. Any other discussion from the audience, or we want to have this, we don't want to rush it. Patty, the roll call. And this is for $12,000, what you did last year. I know Clarence, that's a question, but if we're going to, then we have to change the motion. So I would say let's vote on this motion first, and then if it fails, then you can make another motion. But once the motion is made, you can't go back. Patty, the roll call.
Mr. Ackerman.
Make a motion to stay with Albert.
We have that already.
Karen made the motion.
And who seconded
No, I
it?
mean, I
He
say stay
seconded
with.
It was Karen and Rob.
And you seconded.
Okay, you seconded, so we're voting now. So you say, if you're in favor, say yes. Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Bear.
Yes.
Mr. Christner.
Yes.
Mrs. Nagy.
Yes.
Mr. Irwin.
Yes.
Mr. Munyon.
Yes.
Oh, he's not here. Sorry. So it's a yes.
Unanimous, okay, pal. It was worth driving over here tonight.
Yeah.
Albert.
We appreciate you.
If I can be of any service, let me know, and I appreciate the chance to speak.
Okay. Well, your public comment, and I'm glad we moved this ahead. You can stay, you're free to go, you have the job. And you know the date, the Sunday before, as always.
I appreciate
Same as always.
I appreciate it very much.
Okay, see you,
Thank
Al.
very much.
See if you can throw an extra one in for that. 200.
Do what?
See if you can throw an extra.
Did you want to say something, Brian?
Right,
But you
the
raised your
check
hand.
clearance, you probably have $1,000 cash in your pocket.
Okay, see you, Albert. Drive carefully.
So with that, Mr. President.
Yes.
It's along lines of the 4th celebration. This year, our rain date is gonna be probably Monday. Can I make a motion to turn this fireworks show, not this year, next year, into Saturday before the 4th? So we can have a rain date of Sunday for the 4th of July celebration because of,
I think that's really up to Howard, because I think he always saved that one for us. That's,
You know, we had this
I
discussion
understand, but
before.
if it rains,
yeah.
I mean, if everything gets wet, we can't have it on a Monday. We can't do what we're gonna do
Yeah.
on the field down there on a Monday when everyone's at work.
You'd almost have to advertise and go the following week.
I don't
that's-
know that
that's
we've
up to
had
Howard.
that rain date.
I,
We've always put them on.
I agree with you,
We
but that's
won't
up
get
to
it.
Howard if he could do that.
Well, actually, it's up to us if we wanna move it to Saturday.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people have to work Monday morning and they don't wanna stay up late watching the fireworks and enjoying their families. And have to get up, go home and get up in the morning, go to work. If we do Saturday and the rain date's Sunday, then we don't have to worry about that. That's all I'm asking, that we make a motion, that I'm making a motion that we turn the 4th of July celebration to the Saturday before and work it out with the contractor for Sunday as the rain date.
And this is 2027.
Next year, yes, sir. 'Cause this
Okay,
year-
is there a second? He made the motion, Pat, she seconds it, Karen seconds it. Let's do a roll call vote, Patty. All those in favor, say aye, and opposed, say no when you're called.
Mr. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
yes.
Mr. Christner,
Yes.
Mrs. Nagy.
Yep.
Mr. Irwin,
No.
and Mr. Munyon.
Yes.
Okay, we got it. That's what we're gonna do in 2027.
We should have done this when Albert was here yet.
I know.
But we can't do it this year.
Well,
because
I'm sure
the
we have
pavilion-
enough time
the
to let
pavilion is
him.
rented out on Saturday before.
Yeah.
So we only have Sunday, and then we'd have to do our rain date Monday.
You'll want to
So
reach out
next
to
year,
him soon.
next year, we can plan it for the Saturday before. Thank you all for that.
Okay.
Mr. Solicitor,
All right. Ready for enjoyment. So, we got both parties served on 221 Salisbury Street. I filed the injunction. I don't have the date yet, but I will ask tonight if we can get the bids out for the next meeting so that we can act on the bids at the next meeting, tear the building down.
I have a list of companies.
Good. I think we can do it by phone quote. The reason why I said that, talking with Steve Spokart, the last one we tore down, I think was right around 12,000 prior to the trees. Are there trees we have to take down this one?
No, not that I know of.
Okay,
There's a shed out back, but I don't think we'll take it down.
okay. 3 sheds?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm fairly sure we're gonna be below the phone quote amount, which would be 13.2. We can bid it out to be safe. But, you know, I think it wouldn't hurt to get that ball rolling.
oh, I agree. So let's,
So you're saying you want to send it out to bid?
So that we can open the bids at the next meeting. And we'll use the same format that we've used in the past, which is not only for the demolition, but the disposal, also for filling in the foundation,
I think we should
permitting,
bid it.
and,
So, and we have it, you're
Seating.
comfortable
Yeah.
enough to go through with this
Yep.
now? I'm sure Mr. Strong will be happy to hear that.
I'm fairly sure that neither party will attend, being that there's warrants out for both, so.
Okay, see, we're making progress slowly. Continue.
Yeah.
Oh, great one.
Okay, the next one's a little bit more in depth. So the High Street Bridge, I asked council to close the walkway, and The reason for that, and I know it affects pedestrian traffic, the council doesn't own the bridge, CSX owns the bridge. The issue is the council has the right of way for the walkway. And that bridge is in a increasingly poor state. And in the walkway itself, the pictures that we received the other day showed not only gaps, but showed how the wood was rotten and other issues. And the other thing that I didn't catch ever before on that report, if you look at it, you'll see it. There are work orders that were issued almost 20 years ago on that bridge for work that was supposed to be performed in maintenance. So we have not only some structural issues in the beams themselves, but we also have that walkway, which is in horrendous shape. The walkway is, it's in the worst level that it can be before it's condemned. I mean, quite frankly, and I think that not only do we need to keep that closed, I would encourage council to contact our local and our U.S. officials so that they know. I mean, this has to stop. They want us to take over the bridge. CSX wanted to come and do a presentation. If you guys recall, we went through that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and the replacement of that bridge right now is estimated at $10 million. And if we take over that bridge, not only will you get stuck with that, you're also getting stuck with the maintenance.
Well, the other thing, when we were negotiating that, when Dan Parisi was on, they wanted to close down several of our crossings in lieu of us doing that. And I don't think we should ever agree especially for EMS, to close any crossings.
And that was the other issue, and I think we should get our EMS coordinator involved in this, because I explained to CSX that we just had a train on the track, a week ago. We've had several in the last month. It happens more than a lot of people realize, because I don't know if they pay attention or keep track. But quite frankly, if those crossings are shut, the only way the emergency services get to that part of town is across that bridge. So it's important that not only do we have the bridge, but that they maintain it like they're legally required to do so. Any questions on the bridge? That report is a public document. It's able to have copies of it and viewed, and I would encourage people to look at it. It's quite lengthy, but you'll understand the safety concern when you read it. You only have to go to the third page to realize what it is and the state it's in.
And real quickly, the problem with the sidewalk, if you look at it, there have been some boards that have been recently replaced. It doesn't look bad from the top, but then the engineers, the East Group, they took pictures underneath, and the boards are really deteriorating rapidly. So like I say, Brian took care of closing it off at the advice of our solicitor. So we'll just have to try to work with CSX and move forward. Go ahead, Mark.
So there was a question about the liability on the properties that the borough has and is around. We had rocks on the road several days ago. Anytime that we have rocks in the roadway, if the borough has knowledge of that, we need to take some kind of action, remove them. Jeff, remove those rocks. But what I'm getting at is, if you see those rocks, we have notice, even though if it's a state roadway, the borough has notice of the issue. We can't just allow the problem to exist. So that needs, we need to be attentive on that. We have insurance on all the properties that the borough owns. In fact, I just had talked to Mossholder, is that what it is, the other day, Patty, is it Mossholder Insurance? About the properties and the levels that are on them. So we have those protections, but we do need to make sure that we pay attention to those. The other part of that is there have been different questions about stop signs. I do think that we need to make sure that all of our stop signs are the right size. You're going to think I'm crazy on this, but for example, the one on Broadway and Grant. So it would be the upper Broadway side. I think that is I think it's a 36. I didn't measure it. Is it a 24?
It's small, I think it's small.
Okay. That one we should probably put a 36 on, a reflective stop sign. And the reason for that is it's not just the intersection. It's not just the volume of traffic. The regulation says the viewing distance. So with that curve at that end, I really think that should be that way. And that being said, the ones, for another example, the ones on North and on Penn should be the same size, because you have that viewing distance both ways, not only down towards where Albright's is at, but also going out of town on the north side. We need to be attentive on those things. The part with Broadway, in other words, Broadway out to the fairgrounds, the state still owns and controls that. I do think that we should suggest to them that they do a study of their roadway, because we don't have to pay for that. Our side, our stuff, we do. So, if we have that volume of traffic that deals with the fairgrounds, I don't think it hurts to say that to them, quite frankly.
Let me just say one thing. I mean, we're council members here. We're supposed to be looking out for the good of our community and safety. So the rocks that were on the street, I got wind of it, was off Monday. I went over, Eric was with me, turned around. I put my flashers on. Another gentleman, young fellow, was coming the other way. He almost hit the rock, put his flashers on. We got out, throw them off. I mean, we don't have to wait for Pembroke or for Brian. I mean, if you see something in town like that, be safe, but put your flashers on. The people will stop if they're behind you and clear the road. It took 20 seconds once I got over there. So if we're council members, we're elected, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty a little bit and do things like that. Don't expect somebody else to do it. Continue.
So the next part is the ADA, family bathroom, and the
Can
gym.
we go back to that for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, PennDOT will come if I send an email to Ernie.
Yep.
Does council want me to do that and ask him to come and do that?
I would say go ahead and do a motion and then have them do it. Is my recommendation.
The other thing they're looking at when the accident happened with you, as Mark knows, the wife reached out to me the next day. It was a sun going down this time of the year, but it was also a concern about a private sign there. So the outdoor advertising manager is reviewing if the private business sign at Broadway and Grant is in the right of way. And if it is, they will ask them to move that. Going down Broadway, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but that sign is a bit of a problem. You have to pull out a little bit to see around it. So PennDOT's looking into that. But I would like to see us get PennDOT's recommendations for that intersection. So I would make that motion that we move forward with that.
Well, you had told us, Mark,
Yeah, but
that
we're looking at I'm looking at the part of Broadway that the state owns.
so that would be, you have to be specific that we don't get involved and then have to pay. They recommend something and then the council have to. The only thing I would say is, yes, we had 2 accidents there at that particular place. There's been accidents at the traffic light. People run through a red light and go through. And then I'd like to have a study done at every avenue on Beakley Street, because there's accidents there. People pull out and get blasted. The lady that works at my office, Bree, she had an accident. Somebody hit her right out of this town. So, I mean, are we going to do this for every single intersection, every time there's an accident or 2 in town? I just think that people have to realize that there's a certain responsibility in driving, and there's other places that there's been accidents. So I'm going to vote no, but Karen made a motion, so is there a second? Or any other, first let's get a second if there is one, and then we can vote. Is there a second to Karen's motion?
Can you repeat your motion again, please?
I make the motion at no cost to the borough that we ask PennDOT to do a study on Lower Broadway coming up to the stop sign.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay,
No cost to us.
let's do a roll call vote. Patty, again, we're doing them tonight.
Mr. Ackerman,
No.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Christner,
No.
Mrs. Nagy,
Yes.
Mr. Irwin,
No.
Mr. Munyon,
Yes.
Mr. Smith, he's not here. Okay, it's a tie.
Mr. Mayor, you get to break the tie.
Yeah, if it's no cost to us, why not? Let's do it.
Okay, you heard the vote, it's passed, we'll do it. Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Sure.
About your comment about getting our hands dirty. I got no problem with getting my hands dirty, moving a rock. But am I violating someone's union contract by doing work that they can do? I don't want to get us in trouble by violating their work contract.
That wouldn't be ours, that's the state.
I understand, but it could be, and they could complain or file a grievance against us for doing their work.
That's a very realistic point.
That's all
Well,
I'm trying
and
to-
then I would argue, Bob, if it does go to court, I mean, this is a potential emergency situation. If we're going and doing like painting lines or something like that, when you see a hazard, I can't imagine that any judge or any court would find in favor of, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but you're an emergency situation. PennDOT sure as heck doesn't complain whenever a tree falls down and they call the fire department to come and clean it up in the middle of the night, when they should be doing that, in my opinion. So, I mean,
I understand that.
what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We're talking about alleviating an emergency, potential hazardous situation. So that's how I'd respond.
Yeah,
Karen wants to say
Well,
something?
like last Friday night when they were doing the murder mystery, we were walking up the sidewalk here and we had questioned this sign out here that laid on our sidewalk for a week or two. And I thought they came and handled it. It was laying in the yard where we're gonna have to start mowing. And the problem was where it was broken off, there was a steel shaft with a rough edge on it sticking up in the sidewalk because we were walking 3 wide and I stepped around it. So I called Monday morning and asked PennDOT what was going on. And I said, you need to at least put a cone over it. I mean, somebody's gonna get hurt. And then the sign was gone that same day. And I don't know, is the cone still out there, Brian? So, till they get it fixed.
I mean, not
But
that.
it was a hazard.
But
So I took care of it, Jeff.
from a collective bargaining standpoint, I mean, Bob is right, you have to be careful because it deals with the immediacy of the harm. So, you know, they can object to that, and so we just, yeah, it's emergency, I get it, but.
Well, if I see something like that again, I'm gonna stop and clear the road. If they wanna sue me or,
Well, but
The hell
I
with
think that,
right, Shane?
that actually, you sent me a picture of it, and it, you know, it was an obstruction. I can't imagine anybody would be.
I have a picture on my phone.
I know you said it to me, but
Yeah. Continue, oh great one.
if it's actually an emergency, that's all. So the next one is the family bathroom. I think it started on that. In gym door, and I would add, I sent that RFP out. I would say that we add this as the doorway was voted upon. The only thing I need to know is what size door. Are we putting a 36-inch or a 48-inch?
Handicap, whatever. What would be,
Outswing.
which one, Karen?
A 30-30 outswing.
Write it down. Okay,
And are we gonna put the ADA buttons on that door for here? Because we need them on the bathroom. It's already spec for the bathroom.
I would put them on the door here too.
Yeah, I think we should.
That way, we could move the tables if someone did need that access. If the door is here, they could utilize this door and
And
go in that way.
in that note, I don't think it would increase it much more. I do think we should have safety lighting in this room. It is a public room, it's publicly used.
Mhm.
If the power goes out, we do not have that in here. I added that to the RFP for the bathroom.
So
I-
just an exit sign is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, with just the safety lights on it that come, you know,
Yeah.
if the power goes off. And I think we have one on each, and that way, we're good to go. Is that good?
Okay, at this point, I'm assuming we want to make a motion, if our solicitor is okay with this, to go ahead and advertise the RFP bids to be in whatever date so that we can open the bids and get this project started by the next meeting, April, whatever it is.
So I think it is a June 1st start date. If council wants me to move it up to a May 1st, I can. I mean, I think that would be doable. I don't know contractors and their schedules, but do we want a June 1st or a May 1st start date? And then I'll move.
Well, our meeting's going to be late. It's April 14th.
No, I mean construction. I already have the date set for opening bids
Okay,
and getting
gotcha.
bids in.
Well, if it's not going to be ready for the Maple Festival, I can't see that there's any huge rush. I mean, if you delay it a month or two, the building isn't used that much in the summer. But
We're
whatever
only
you ate,
25 years late. What's another month, Jeff?
well, I kind of agree with that, yeah.
Mark, you
I
have a
think
start
we
date June 1st and the end date July 31st.
Okay.
So what kind of a motion are you looking for, Mr.
I just look for
Solicitor?
a motion that we can advertise the RFP, and we should specify what date, the start date that you guys want, and I'll have the end date within 60 days of that, so that we stay on schedule and get it done.
Let's do May 1st. I make
Okay.
the motion that we get it out and ask for May 1st.
And a second. Karen makes the motion, Jeff seconds it. Let's do a roll call vote, Patty. This is important.
I'm tired of this, Jack. Mr. Ackerman. Mr. Bear.
Yes.
Mr. Christner.
Yes.
Mrs. Nagy.
Yes.
Mr. Irwin.
Yes,
Mr. Munyon.
Yes.
unanimous. We're making progress.
So-
Keep going, Marky.
The last one I want to go to tonight, and something else comes up, is Shane and I have had conversations about the police department. I know it's further down the line in our agenda, but I wanted to cover this in this part of the session. So Shane made me aware through PSP of the restrictions that are on the police department who can have access. I did some research, not that I didn't believe Shane, but I did some research, and it's actually a little bit more restricted than what the state police have told us. So for somebody to have access in that department on their own, they're gonna have to be clean, or through clean, I think it's called. They're gonna have to have the clearances. So here's the other issue though. There's minors, okay? Anything that deals with minors, there's a bunch of other restrictions and things on top of that. We need to make sure that whoever's gonna have access has those proper clearances, that we're in the good, and we're okay to go forward. And that deals with maintenance and everything. I mean, it's really not, quite frankly, I don't think it's that huge of a hurdle to get, but it's required. So I think, we can do that. We can have our bases covered. And this is why. If you go down there, and I made a big point about before the evidence room, if you go down in that room, and I haven't been there for a while, but sometimes there are open investigations that, there's pictures or different things posted. There's sometimes things they're laying out. Sometimes, officers have just left or they went out to do something, and you do not know what you're going to get into. So for example, if we had a steam leak or a water leak, whatever it was that Brian had to go in, it's not that Brian's going to be looking at things. It's just the idea that they're possibly there. And we don't want to get into a situation where somebody is under investigation, or there could be charges, or there are charges, or whatever it is, and we have any effect on that investigation, or there's anything that could somehow corrupt. So I do think we need to cover that.
Well, can I chime in here? 'Cause I deal with this every day. So I'm clean certified, JNet certified, PSP has, every keystroke is audited, and anybody, there has to be a TAC officer as well assigned to each department to oversee the JNet and clean compliance. And just like you said, any data that comes off those files is restricted activity. So they should not be publicized. It should be kept in a file jacket, secured somewhere. It's strictly audited now. PSP's definitely tuned that up quite a bit.
Brian,
That's more
do
agile.
you know this guy, Corporal Robert Gambone?
Is he out of Harrisburg?
He's out of Greensburg.
Okay. So that'd be Troop A headquarters. I know the captain for Troop A. I'm working with him with the NFL draft that's in Pittsburgh, wants some security stuff. If you need something there, it's fine. The other thing is, if you have a question specifically for clean and JNet, they have a usually lieutenant or above out of Harrisburg that's assigned to that unit that monitors everything associated with it.
Yeah, because this guy here, he's a corporal and he's a clean audit
Yeah.
investigator.
It's probably because of the fact that Troop A is out of Greensburg and they take care of Somerset Camp, and that's their main hub of activity. So
Right.
it's probably Western, geographically.
Yeah, and that's what he says about the TAC.
Yeah,
You know, you have to pass some stuff through the
Yes,
TAC officer.
You have to do a series of clearances. You also then have to take their protocol, their certified exam. And it's through their portal that you do that. I
Right.
just did mine a month ago.
And that's why I said, I mean, I'm not opposed to this at all. Matter of fact, I think it's a good idea to have, you know, my only request would be that it be an employee, that it would be Brian, if you guys so choose to, because if we get him up to compliance with the state law.
And I don't.
Are you willing, Brian, to?
Put you on the spot.
Whatever.
See, going back from the past, we have had situations that we've had an emergency in there and we had to get in. You'll testify to that. The one night, Timmy Pritz was working, he was on. And there's these radiators right out here in the hallway are above that little room in the back. And they were leaking and all this water, steam was coming out of there. And we had to get in and fix it. So, I mean, the key can be in Patty's office. It can be highly regulated. But if there's nobody available and we have an emergency, that's what I'm saying.
So I had a communication with Harrisburg over that. And they said that whoever's going to go in there, if it's by themselves, whoever goes in there, there needs to have to be one person who has that clearance and make sure that everything's okay.
And you shouldn't go in there by yourself.
But when it comes to an emergency, they said that if we can shut the utilities off on the building, and they were pretty stern about that, that's how you deal with the emergency, because they gave, if you look at what the governors, and I forgive me, whoever watches this and knows that what that task force and the thing that they had, and the executive order that came out of that, if you read that and how intricate that is, it's not something to play with, because there's a lot of things in that, quite frankly. I mean, I've worked for CYS, I've done CYS cases for years, and I did parole for 10 years. There was stuff in there that I didn't even think of at all, to be quite frank. So we just need to make sure that if Brian's willing to do that, great.
Along those lines too, we have security cameras both uptown and down on the playground. And do we have a chain of custody, like who has the passcodes to those cameras?
Shane.
If they're
And
used.
no one else can access those videos.
Right? You're the only one, Shane.
I have the ones uptown. I don't know about anything else.
So Brian, you don't have access to
I
those down
think
there?
down here, the playground cameras are in a lockbox in our shop. And as I told you, Neil has the keys to those. So the monitors, what Brian was explaining to me, the monitors can be seen down here, but nobody has access to the box itself to mess with anything other than the police officer. It's locked up, so they're the only ones with access to that. Matter of fact, they are the only ones with access to this box up here as well, the one at the library.
So could we, Mark,
So the
could
actual
you,
record itself, the police are the only ones who have access.
Right.
All right.
and that's the way it should be.
Right. They own
I
the
agree.
record
I wanted to
itself.
make sure.
Could you craft a motion then that we can start to move forward on this?
Yeah, I would just ask for a motion that authorizes Brian to be able to go through that process. And I think we should add that,
And would he be able to keep the key on his person? Does the key have to stay in the office?
If he has that
Keep it on
clearance.
his person. He has that clearance, he is good to
Okay.
go.
Okay. Is there we have to have the motion
Yeah, I
first.
can't make the motion.
Somebody make a motion for that? Ron and Jeffy seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Is that it, Mark?
I think it's all.
I had a couple things,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
That church back there on Clay Street isn't looking any better.
So
So where are we on that?
that is a blighted property. And I've dealt with, I'm on the third person who is trying to get that from the church. The church has decided that they want that person to buy it, and that person is buying it. I'm hoping to have that closing done before the end of this month. And they, I believe, are supposed to tear it down, get a demolition permit and tear it down. Now, I will add this, the Blighted Property Act is geared for and is really pushed for private landowners to be able to go after these properties with the assistance of not only the borough, but the other taxing municipalities to accomplish these things. And it saves the borough a ton of money. For example, that property up there, that'll end up saving the borough the demolition costs, which will probably be more than the 12 because it's a cinder block and has a bunch of other stuff inside. So, yeah, I think it's a positive thing.
I
Okay.
think the old hospital on Main Street, I'm involved with Jeff Hobbs with the library. They got my guy, who's the same guy as the Reese. He actually gave us a quote on the Salisbury Street property too.
Okay.
He's been the cheapest around, insured, knows exactly what to do. We hope to have that down within a month.
Yeah, and
They've already released the bid.
I filed the lien release on that. I'll get the copy to you, Patty. And that was the sidewalk lien release that followed the prior owners.
Mhm.
Okay.
Who's your other?
Code enforcement, PMCA, no one is here. Committee reports, municipal authority, let's try to run through some of these fast. Brian, come up to the menu if you have a, come up to the podium.
Real bit of an update for you.
Please.
Actually, as of today. So today, signed off on the notice to proceed for the Sherman Street Sewer Project. That'll be tentatively starting around 17th of May, and then it should be completed by the end of September. So that was done today. I got that here from Eads, signed off on it. So Snyder Environmental Services is the contractor that is going to do that work, and that'll be starting in mid-May. So everybody's been doing pretty well. We were having a little bit of water, a lot of water over the course of winter here with just trying to identify where a lot of these leaks are. Hats off to the crew. They did an excellent job trying to identify it. Some of the properties that they did find were absentee landowners that had quite a few messes in their properties because of pipes bursting and a lot of water coming out of them. So they reported today that we're around 100 gallons of, unaccounted for usage, which is really good for our system currently. So just wanted to give you the update on that regarding Sherman Street, and we're happy to see that progress. Anything for me?
Two things I want to add to what Brian's saying. First of all, when he's talking about the pipes bursting, other things, if anybody has the water shut off by the authority, you need to, I know this sounds like common sense, but you need to go in and make sure that the water actually is shut off. Because some of the older stop valves, they're the old type gate valves, they don't have a close point. They have to turn them right to the right spot. We don't always have access to the properties. So if you're asking for that to be shut down, we really need to have somebody go in and make sure the water's actually shut off. That was one of the reasons why we had some of the leaks. That's a big thing. The other thing I would ask is the lead and copper EPA mandated letters are going to be going back out for those people who are not willing or haven't been willing to allow either the authority to come in and view the pipes or to take pictures of the pipes. We're required to do that. You can take the pictures and give those to the authority. They're required to report that by law. And if we don't, it greatly affects grant funding. It's not meant to come in and be an intrusion in your home. It's not meant to go out through your home. But I just encourage people to, if you don't want to show us the piping, that's great. We're not talking about the piping that goes throughout your house. It deals with where the meter's at. If you have a meter pit, right? And all we care about is the line that comes into your house. That's all the concern is, not the rest of the piping in your house. And if you don't have a meter pit, if you have a meter in your home, all we are concerned with is right up to the meter in your home. But it's important that we can try to work together and get that.
What do you do if you have a vault?
What's that?
What do you do if you have a vault?
Well, that's kind of a unique question.
Well, we look at the time. So believe it or not, Meyersdale, and I shouldn't say this out loud, but I will. I was really amazed because we're usually not as progressive as some. And in 1948, I think was it Clear Springs? It was whatever the water company was called. I should know, Sand Spring Water Company. When they had their rules that from 1948 forward, no lead fittings or pipe were allowed to be used in the main lines or the laterals. So the bulk of our lines in this borough are copper. And we haven't found to date any lead or lead fittings, which is great. Our water tests that we have to take annually, actually twice a year, have not shown levels of lead at all. That's like your first sign we have a problem. We don't have that issue. And a lot of our newer lines, which would be, I believe, early 90s, like 1994 forward, are plastic. So, we're actually pretty progressive and doing really well. And a lot of the homeowners who are having pictures actually have the copper. So when you say, what do we do with the vault? We have to be able to ascertain, from our records, which we have really good records, when the vault was put in. And that'll tell us most likely what the pipe was that was put in. A lot of the vault records, even going back into the 50s, show not only when the vault was put in, the type meter, the size pipe, and the type of pipe. And it's actually surprising, the documentation. So
We've actually had around 70-some% compliance on this with our community, which is great.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Compared to when you look at different variables from other communities, Meyersdale is above average with doing that national standard and reporting. So that's hats off to our community and hats off to our employees that are doing the work.
If you fill out the forms.
Okay, any other questions for Brian? Let's try to keep the tires spinning here a little bit.
You will be impressed with Snyder. They do.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I reviewed their specs and stuff, so I think that we're looking forward to working with them in reference to this project.
And what's neat about it is they're doing most of that in line, in place. So it's not going to cause as huge a disturbance on the street.
I'm curious, office hours at the authority these days?
We have somebody there, well, it's kind of different. We have the employees, the field off guys get there a little earlier than I'm going. We usually have someone there at 8 o'clock at the office, in the business office. We have 2 employees there, Bree and Donna. They're working very well together. We've got caught up on a lot of them, let's just say, little back burner projects. Our website's really caught up. I don't know if anybody's taken the time to take a look at that. A lot of records been updated. Just a lot of in-house organization's been done, especially in the last probably 6 weeks. So you should see somebody there most of the time during normal business hours, 8 to 4:30. I know one of our employees is having some, let's just say some absences because of some things going on the personal end of it, which is totally understandable. So, but, Dawn Bittner has been filling in very well. She's working up to 32 hours a week. So I would think they should be able to engage with somebody there if they visit our office. And if not, let us know. We'll definitely be open to correct it.
Brian, thank you. You guys do a great job. We appreciate it. I think you have a great board.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Street foreman, Brian. I see a mirror up in town.
Yeah, we got it up today. That's Colonial and Dale Street. So that's up, it's taken care of. Donegal Sweeping will be coming in. I did talk to them. They'll be coming in April 7th, week of the 7th. Now, one thing, their price went up from $200 an hour to $250. Do we want to still keep them? Do you want to vote on it? What do you?
How much was it last year? It was like,
It was around, what, $2,000, something like that, maybe not even that.
Somewhere around there, I'm not sure.
okay.
Now and they are looking at this year with the amount of anti-skid, they're looking at possibly 2 days. 2 holidays.
I think we should just move forward. You have them scheduled. We know they do a good job. They had wanted to come earlier. We said, no, they wanted to come last week.
Yeah, they wanted to come.
We said, that ain't happening. So, because we could get another snow, more. So I think you did well in coordinating that date with them. Let's have discussion, but I would almost ask for a motion that we go ahead and allow them to come up and clean our streets as it's done in the past.
I just think we need to make sure we get that out on Facebook, maybe do an all call, let people know if, a week before so they can get everything cleaned off their sidewalks. We gotta make sure, we had complaints last year during the Maple Festival when they had the car show. It was very difficult. We didn't get Center Street cleaned off as good as we could have for the festival. I mean, we gotta make sure we get some things really cleaned up.
I don't know, we need a motion to do this. I mean, they come every year. It's in the budget. You want a motion for this?
You don't need a motion, but you should. I mean, when they do it in Somerset, I always struggle with how they do it because I imagine you'd shut the street like, so you can get against the curb.
Well,
And
what I
they
could, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
What I could do is sit down and put a list. Say we're gonna do center and move from this street to this street. And when they put it on Facebook, then those people know, hey, they're gonna do this street first. I have time to sweep mine off until they get here. So put a list together where the people know what street they're gonna do when. that
And maybe give a generalized warning the week ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, watch out, we're gonna tell you, be
Yeah.
prepared to
Like I
move
said,
your
I think
vehicle.
I'll call because not everybody, Jeff, I don't think you're on social media, so
Nope.
it would get the information out.
And maybe even if one of the cops are on duty, we could have them go ahead on some of those streets and have vehicles move. If that's okay. We can do that.
Anything else, pal?
I did get some quotes. You guys can look at it, what Tom was saying about the tractors. The one is just for the Steiner and the other one is for a complete setup, John Deere. So I'll give this to you guys to look at. I should have got some copies made, but, I just didn't have a chance to.
I did.
Oh, you got some copies, okay.
This one's a Steiner.
Yes. Now, the difference between the two is the Steiner is just the attachments. We have a tractor. The John Deere is a complete unit, which would replace the tractor we have down there now, which is 35 years old.
And the John Deere this is a quote for a brand new.
That's a quote for.
I honestly think that if you want this new piece of equipment, I think that's something like, Larimer, Greenville Township got like a whole new $100,000 piece of equipment. I think that would be a grant that we would go after to spend that much money.
I think Summit Township also.
Yeah, they're getting, I mean, if you apply for the grants, there's money.
I think it would-
$40,000 is a lot of money.
It would qualify better 2 ways too, because you can use it on sidewalks and on the streets, right?
That's my two cents.
So what the attachment for what you have now would be the $1,594.25.
Well, okay, if there's grant money, maybe we could just get it all.
Apply for it all.
Yeah.
I think we put that on the list. I think it is, there's equipment on the list, so maybe we go for the John Deere. Michelle's gonna come over and we're gonna have lunch. I can ask her where to go. I mean, that might be a LSA money.
Anything else, sir?
You're gonna do a motion to pursue a grant?
Could we have, absolutely, could we have a motion? Jeff makes a motion, Clarence seconded it, Ron thirded it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
I had a few things. So I'm keeping a dashboard that I'm glad to share with whoever wants it, like of our progress each month, like when we start projects, when we finish, who's assigned to it, and then the status. Light at the ADA entrance, did we get that done?
No, Leroy's never ever gotten back.
My guy came over and we submitted grant for the realtor grant. What that is placing lights, new lights in the hallway all the way down into the foyer, all LEDs. And then at the front, he would do the wiring. We would buy those 3 lights. I was gonna ask him about that light, but I didn't want to interfere with, but Tom and I talked a little bit about that. If we are so lucky as to get a couple $1,000s from Wendy, I have a bottle of wine in my fridge. Then I think we can just get Timothy to take care of that if you'd like.
Yeah, it's been going on so long and it really is dangerous. When we go out here and I step down there, somebody really could miss a step and end up falling.
Wait a minute, your meeting's this
Our
week?
actually meeting is Thursday, so I'll have more information on Thursday because we've, I'm not sure how many municipalities, we had a $7,500 grant that we get every year that is, that we can use into the public. And so we applied to all of the boroughs and municipalities to, hey, send us your projects and so we can make a decision and give you some free money. So yeah, we'll hopefully have some ideas. Because we only, it gets used up by a certain period of time, usually by June, so we're meeting next, on Tuesday.
And Jeff's
Thursday.
gonna come to that and represent us.
Yeah, Jeff will be there, so I'll see.
Yeah,
him
I'm going
Thursday.
down there.
So hopefully we'll have some answers by then.
And do you just want my guy to take care of it if we get some grant money?
I mean, the amount, you don't need phone quotes if that's the.
We're already paying him. His quote is $19.80 for, I think it's 4 new fixtures this way, 2 that way. And then, like I say, we want to get the outside lights up, those 3. We provide the lights, he'll wire them up. I mean, I'm guessing he would charge me an extra $100 to take those 2 existing lights down. And then if we bought the light, which I can pick out for us if we want, and he would just take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even need phone quotes below the 13.2, I think it is, so.
Is that what y'all want to do? Just let.
I think so.
I just have a motion made that way it's. So.
Is there a motion then? Jeff and Clarence again?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Did you get the exact motion? Maybe we should clarify.
Denton.
Denton.
Denton. I think it's Somerset Electric. The microwave for the pavilion and the gutters and downspout at the pavilion, do we have an update on those things?
Microwave's done. It's installed, which I did talk to Brian. He's pleased with it. The gutters, I'm just waiting on Bruce to have the gutter people come in. So as soon as they get in contact with Bruce, that'll be finished.
Bruce? Oh, good, okay. If you have any trouble with that, I have a good contact too. Handicap sign at the post office.
We did not get that up yet because of the weather. That will be up before festival.
Okay, and the street painting, crosswalk curves, all that, all the arrows. Did we find out if in front of Dunkus's, that's 2 or 1?
That is 1.
That's 1, okay. Flagpole repair. Where are we at on that?
You mean this pole right here? We just need a rope to put on there. Could the firemen do that, or you need a lift?
They put it up for us the last time. We can get the rope.
Could you ask them to
Yeah.
see if we can get moving on that?
Yeah. I'll ask Mike.
It'd be like with the proper equipment, a 10-minute job or less.
I don't know why the rope keeps getting cut on that. I don't understand.
We need an internal halyard.
Yeah, I agree.
Is it getting cut from where? Is it getting
I
cut?
don't know. That's the problem.
Okay.
We put 3 ropes on that pole. And within a day, they're.
I'm thinking it's the pulley up on the top is rusted and cutting it. I mean, where else could it break? It has to be at that pulley.
Somewhere.
And then on the playground.
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. Do you want to say something, Brian?
This maybe triggered a thought that I would applaud getting that handicapped area in front of the post office remedied, because within the last week, there has been people parked opposite side of the street, right in the handicap area. And there's no courtesy to that, and that's designated space for those people that are qualified to use it. That, I would encourage the police to be a little more proactive, and actually several of us witnessed someone walking a dog that came out of Center Street on 229 Center Street and walked the dog right into that spot, and the dog did its business, and they kept moving on.
And they don't clean up after it.
No, and I just think that that's a high traffic area for people to get in and out.
Could you
And
do that
those people
tomorrow?
that have
You got the
challenges
signs?
have
Maybe we can put that top priority.
Because when there's snow
Tomorrow.
there, they don't even see the blue. So we talked about that last month. Okay, then down on the playground, spring readiness. I've seen several large people on the blue swings down there, and I just wondered, the signs we put up on those blue swings that are so expensive, are they still legible?
Yeah, I mean, you could paint an orange sign this big, and it doesn't matter what you put.
I know,
on
but
it.
I just wonder if they faded.
I think we need some kind of enforcement.
I was down there a couple weeks ago and you can see the signs.
Yeah, the signs.
I was amazed
Okay,
how many people that didn't belong to those were on those.
I went and chased one off. I said, are you in need? I said, those are really expensive and if they get broken, so.
You want to solve all these problems?
Huh?
You want to solve all these problems?
Yeah.
More police.
Okay.
Is that it, Craig?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Mhm.
Okay, fine. Are you done, Brian? Finally,
Feel Brian. Brian 303. Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
If you're okay with it, I'm gonna start with the billboard updates.
Yep.
All right, so I got some good news and a little bit of bad news. Good news, we got some newer quotes, and those newer quotes are substantially lower than the original. So basically for the 20 by 8, we went from 7,400 to 5,800, and then return it to the original version, the 20 by 12 or the extended version, went from 11,500 to 9,400. So with that lower cost and some shifts in the merchant budget, we now can handle the cost of the, 20 by 8, right? What I have here is the proposed design and approach. That's the original design, or I'm sorry, the proposed design. Those lines you see are.
Very nice.
The panels will go on. So we will finalize that design at our next meeting coming up here on March 18th at 6 p.m. That new quote, just like the last one, does not include labor or installation. So we still have some things to work out. We still need to decide if we want to go after the bigger sign. So as donated money starts coming in, we'll make that determination if it's going to sit where it currently is, or if we'll go to the extended size. And again, we have several meetings before we'll make that decision. Now, the bad news with this is we had every intention and hope to have that new billboard up before the Maple Festival. That's not going to happen. So what we're doing now is we're pursuing some different installation companies, and at the same time, we're going after some local businesses. And what we're trying to do is get some guarantees and warranties on duration versus just someone coming and putting it up, and next thing you know, we have a problem a year and a half down the road. So that's going to be delaying us. And since we're not going to have it up for the Maple Festival, we're going to take our time with it and make sure it's done right. Make sure that's going to be a nice permanent for years and years to come. Any questions?
Are you going to solicit funds? Did you say that?
We are. If it's decided that we are going to go with a larger one, we'll come back and we'll start letting you know what we need. But if we're sticking with the current size that we have covered, we're ready to move forward. So it just needs to be a determination. And actually, I'd like some input from the committee here. I mean, what would you want to see up there? Do you want to see the full 20 by 12, or are you happy with the 20 by 8? It's the same.
I'd say the bigger one, if you can afford it, you know.
So again,
A lot of people are traveling that road now. It's unbelievable with the truck traffic and Monday morning coming north, it's just.
With that being said, if I can comment on this, the people who designed this is what they do for a living. And we have people who want all kind of stuff on there. And the more you put on there, less people want to see it, less are going to pay attention to it. So I think this is what we came up with. It's probably the most eye-catching that we can, that you can read as you're 160 plus mile an hour down to 19. Again, we'll go after the bigger sign, but if we're restricted to the small one, we have it covered. Right? Any questions on the bill? Right, so staying with the Merchants Association then, our committees are established, the USC Golf Tournament Committee is established. Mike Roten again is going to take lead on that. He did a great job for us last year. I think we're lucky to have him on board, so things start getting finalized with that, they'll start getting pushed out, and I believe that will take place in August. I know they already have the golf course reserved, I just don't have the date locked into my head. The farmers market is also established, and again, next to this committee, we have the Paul E. Fuller Playground, Pavilion, and concessions locked in as of last meeting. Our application process for the farmers market is complete, and those applications should be going out here very shortly. I did do an introductory email to all our previous year's vendors and a bunch of new vendors, just letting them know what to look for, and I'm already getting some positive feedback on that. Unfortunately, Deborah already left. I also got Deborah Fisher to help me to get some new vendors, so she'll go out and start soliciting for us. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot more vendors with that pushing for us. Something we're going to do a little bit new this year. The very first event this year on June 4th, we're going to do that at no cost to vendors. What we're going to try and do is let everyone come in. Not that our vendor fees are incredible, but if we can get them come in free, except for a day, and let the vendor see what we have. Because as a vendor, I'm telling you right now, there's no other place that has what we have down here as far as that pavilion, the restroom, the playground, no need for tents, no need for tables, very close parking. That is incredible to set up as a vendor versus a lot of other places I go. So if I can get vendors at least to come in and see what we have available to them, I'm hoping that's going to spark some more interest and we'll get some more reoccurrence on the vendors. We're attempting to schedule music for a minimum of once per month, maybe more. That's going to be depending on the cost. And closing that out, I did stop by the pavilion this evening. I did take a look at that microwave. It's in a perfect place. We lose no space. So I'm very happy with where that's at. And again, I thank you. Any questions of me? Right. Consider coming out to our meeting next Wednesday then.
Thank you, Brian. We always appreciate we should try to move him up closer, unless you mind. Do you mind sitting here waiting? We could try to move him forward a little bit somehow. Where could we put him?
I'm the very first one on the committee, so that's good. I'm good with all that.
Okay, thank you very much. We could maybe move him after junior council member. You know, he's always here. What do you say about that? Getting
nice.
And then if you want to stay, you can stay. We'll move you up. It'll be a little bit earlier if that's okay. Thank you, Brian. Where are we here? The public library. We went ahead and took care of is there anything else from the community events besides the fireworks? We took care of that?
Yeah, the fireworks was taken care of. The Easter egg hunt is April 4th at the pavilion and at the playground. That's 11 o'clock. And then the rain date is April 11th. And then
so it's April 4th, the day before Easter, like it usually is, 11 a.m. Yep. The Easter egg hunt. Got it.
And Bob has something at the fireworks this year. Good, Bob.
So for the 4th of July celebration on the 28th of June, I talked to a military recruiter today, and they are willing to have a recruiter at the event that day. I just got to give them the actual start time, end time. He's also going to put a request in for the climbing wall. And he said he'll put the request in, but because of funding, they may not be able to give that to us. But if it does show up, 14 years and under cannot climb the wall. 15 years and 75 to 300 pounds is okay to climb, but the parents will have to sign. It's called a hold harmless agreement, where the military, the National Guard, is not liable for injuries. My question is, what is our liability if someone gets hurt on our property from this? That will depend on whether we don't have the wall or we do have the wall.
So the first thing we'd have to do is make sure with moss holder that we have coverage for that type of wall, because sometimes there's height and other things that come into play. But from a
See you, Brian.
liability standpoint, without getting into height and those other things, we would have the same liability with that wall as we would with any of our playground equipment. And it would have to be, it's not liability for the borough isn't normal liability. It has to be like an open and apparent defect that we have notice of.
Okay, so is this something that if we can get it, that we go ahead and do for our 4th celebration?
Is there gonna be somebody there manning this and checking the height and stuff?
Absolutely, they have a MET team. Don't ask me what MET stands for, but they're trainers that travel around with this wall. They set it up and they hook everybody up and they watch the kids climb. And then they make sure they come off correctly. So.
Well, I'd like to see us do it if the solicitor would give us a green light. I think it'd be something interesting, unusual, something we've never had before here.
And I know the one in Freedom.
What do you say, Mark?
I think it's, I'll just double check with the insurance or Maddie can double check, but I don't think it's any issue. We didn't have a problem with bouncy houses and other things in the past, so it should be okay, but I'll double check real quick.
He was going to send the request in tonight. He's gonna let me know. But he said funding's probably not there, so we probably won't get it, but there's always a chance.
Yeah.
Well, we could maybe make a motion that we approve it pending insurance and solicitor approval. That way it's good to go, and if we'd hit a snafu, then we're covered and we just wouldn't do it. Does anyone want to make that motion? Okay, Ron and Clarence a second. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Anybody opposed? That's unanimous. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to take Sunset Trust for donating items for the Easter egg.
Okay, so noted. Is that it? Jeff, that's it? Clarence, okay. Okay, the standing committees, we already discussed emergency access to the police. Does the mayor or the police committee have anything else they would like to discuss here? The mayor or police committee, nothing? Personnel?
Maybe this goes under there. I was asked today, like, the MMA has online billing, and I was told one of my friends said she forgets her refuse bill because she can't set it up online. Is there a reason we can't do online billing like the MMA does?
I don't even know if our program will do it.
Can we check?
I can check.
I mean, most bills that everybody pays these days, I mean, the younger generation now doesn't even have checks. So I think that's where we're headed in society. I think it'd be really nice to offer online billing.
Finance?
That means you're on.
Nothing there? Refuse contract?
Oh, I have an update. Can I stop us for just a second?
Mm-hmm.
Doug Horn just sent me a note. He said, just letting you know, the 6 tables are done and sitting in the greenhouse at the school. They came out really nice. So
Can we pick them up, Brian?
That's exciting.
Ask about those.
There you have it.
Here we put those so they would get stolen.
I know.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Do you have a place to keep them inside until down there?
We can keep them in our shop.
That's what I mean, yeah, until.
Yeah, until they're ready to go out. I'm sure they're going to need painted or stained or whatever, unless they already are.
Okay, family restroom gym door update. I think we covered that. We put that out for a bit. Flood control. I had real quick here received, actually Patty received the email. Let me find it here. From, don't you just hate when you can't find it?
For the DEP?
Yeah. No, this is Army Corps.
Okay.
Anyways, Patrick, more?
More.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
And what they're interested, I think this project, the $1 million over project, is gonna go forward probably next summer. But what he was doing, Brian and I were talking about that, we're gonna get Terry Baker in too, because they've been working on an access, but the email today, you have a copy of,
Like to be kept informed, I'm the chairman.
Karen, it just happened today, it just
Yeah,
happened today.
just
You're getting
keep me-
informed now.
If you are gonna meet, I would like to meet.
Well, and you're getting informed now, because I just came through today.
Good.
But anyways, we have the maps. If you take a look, there's 2 access maps, which they want approval for. But Brian River said they're actually working on the straight-on access. I don't think the Army Corps realized that we own, the municipal authority owns all that land to the left of this map. So Brian drew a little access on there. It would be clear in the lower left-hand side where they could bring a road straight in, and we wouldn't have to worry about those other 2 routes. So I'm gonna call this guy back tomorrow and tell him that he would like to have maybe a meeting, a phone call or something with somebody from the borough. But I think since you and keep Karen informed, of course, but since you and Terry have been working on this, I think that would be, something that, the access, or you've been planning this, so I think it'd be something to go forward.
Yeah,
Okay.
the access will just come right off of where the dump used to be. It's straight shot, straight in, straight out.
But the good news is, they're interested in this, and he was aware, he did say these words, that the DEP has agreed to pay our share, so that's out there. So I really think it's gonna go next summer. So somehow, I'm gonna talk to this gentleman tomorrow, and then we'll see if we can coordinate something that he could talk to you and Karen, and maybe the 3 of you would wanna, probably the ones that should talk to him, Karen on the flood control, and you could explain to Karen what you and Terry have been doing in the past as far as this straight-on access road on the MMA property. Is that right, Brian?
Yeah, I just gave Brian a copy of that.
That'll be no problem, right, Brian?
No issues. Terry and I spoke today about it. That's first I became aware of it. But I will direct that to be on our official agenda for discussion.
Well, I understand. And I was, sorry to interrupt you, Brian. I'm not trying to interrupt. Why are they even asking us this? Because in part of their plan, their access is already there. Like, they know that they can have access. It's odd. I'm just.
Well, I had to explain to him today, no, it isn't. I had to explain to him today that we own all the land, that they don't have to worry about crossing any other land between us and the MMA.
Actually, no, because that's section between still the Maple Festival.
I thought they gave it to us.
We've never completed that.
I thought it was too.
They said that we were gonna do the deed. We went through that, and that's as far as we got.
So we would have to get with the festival in order to cross that piece of ground.
Yeah, which I don't think is an issue, because they have wanted us to have the property and or the authority to have the property. The issue is, every time they've said that, I've asked them, and I'm not trying to be like stickler, but it's required by law, that they have a resolution saying that they're allowed to take that action officially. And if we have that, then there's no issue in doing that, because the authority already voted to accept the property. It'd have to go to the planning commission too, because there's some other stuff, but what I'm getting at is the Army Corps actually regulates that whole plain. And if you look at the takings that happened in the 1960s and how this whole project started, they actually have the access already built in. So.
Well, Brian felt that the one plan coming across here would be bad because they'd sink in.
No, I understand.
And
Well, they would have to do something with the holding pond. You don't want to take that bank out.
No, but what I'm saying is they actually have multiple access plans built into that in the 60s.
why don't you talk to them, whatever, and just explain, I can't see why crossing that little piece of land would be any big deal to access. I think that's gonna put us stickler in this. We wanna try to get this $1 million project done.
And the only reason I'm saying that is I don't think you have to vote to give them access because they already have it. Just
Right.
Acknowledge it.
But this was more or less a report. Okay, moving on. On the next page, zoning ordinance review. Number 2, adopt ordinance 449 occupational tax. Could we have a motion to do so?
Yes, I make a motion.
Ron makes a motion.
I'll second.
Clarence seconds it, or actually Jeff, I think, did it first. All those in favor say aye. You got that, Patty? Opposed? Okay, unanimous. PennDOT request on Main Street. I'll throw this out. I looked at Main Street and Center. I think that's what they're referring to the traffic light, and there's a couple potholes there. I don't think it's that bad myself, but let's have a good discussion here that the whole thing needs to be redone at this point. We could buy maybe a couple more years because we have to pay to have the traffic light recalibrated. And that's how much, Patty?
Last time they did any work, it was like over $5,000.
Yeah, there's more to say.
So, I mean, I'd ask everybody at the last meeting, would you please take a close look at the intersection of Center and Main? I did, and yes, there's a few potholes that are gonna have to be repaired, but I just don't think we have to get into that at this time, but somebody else blurted out. Yes, Karen?
So is PennDOT willing to patch the potholes, or are they only willing to do the major work?
Well, technically, you could argue possibly that we could patch the potholes, because it's Center Street it's Main Street, which is theirs, but Center Street is ours. So,
And they
I mean,
did
we
patch
could-
those potholes.
they would, Brian?
They did patch the potholes, but at this point in time, it's not gonna hold.
Well, I'm saying like this summer they would do
Yeah.
it, not now,
Yeah.
but just to prevent from having that whole intersection repaved and then the $5,000. Could that money come out of the fuel fund to pay for that traffic light?
I kind of doubt it.
No. I'm 99% sure.
You'll be paying it back
Huh?
Yeah.
in 2 years when there's an audit. that we-
Been there, done that. Anyways, I blurted all this out, so let's have some discussion on what you want to do. Doesn't matter one way or the other to me, but I just think,
I do think we need to get it patched before bikers start coming down through. And there will be bikers coming down through soon because they are pretty big. Like there's 2 potholes that I saw that are pretty deep. You get a front wheel and you have somebody on a bike flip over, it wouldn't be good.
Is that
So-
Main or Center?
it's
It's
kind of
on
in both.
Main.
Okay.
It's
It's on the
right in
upper
the center
side.
of the intersection, really, what I saw. It's pretty much on both.
If it's in the center of the intersection, it's the same. But if we have notice of it there again, and you guys have the stuff for the, well, not you guys, but we have the Maple Festival, and I'm assuming the car show in that area.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see a problem if we would patch it.
You think we could get it patched before the Maple Festival?
We're actually getting cold mix. I can stop the water authority today. We're gonna go and get cold mix next week. So we can use some of that. Hot mix would be ideal, but. they're not-
So I'm not hearing anybody aggressively defending that we have the whole thing redone at this point and have that traffic light calibrated. Eventually it'll need to be done, but is there anybody feel strongly that we should do the whole thing?
Well, there is one thing. Now, Center Street, we are going to put on the paving list from the light up to Dale Street to divert that water situation.
From Randy
Right.
Tressler.
We did talk about that, so I don't think that'll affect anything with the light. I wouldn't think.
If you pave over that, won't that affect the sensors?
Well, they mill it and then they put the pavement back. I don't know if it will or not, will it?
It might. I will say this, that was put in, what, 2017, I think, with the streetscape project brand new. Does that sound about right, Patty?
You know, something
And we've
like
had to pay to replace it at least once, and it wasn't fully replaced. I think that if you're gonna do that, to have it done, we should look around and have pricing to actually do it right. Instead of, because that 6,000 was an actual replacement, it was like a
That was just a
fix.
repair.
Yeah, and it wasn't, so I would encourage, if maybe we look at, there probably is grant funding for that, and when we do it right. Because it's not the best.
So, so at this point, we're not going to move forward with what's on the agenda. So we're gonna try to repair it. At this point, Brian, if you could get that. Okay, the old mini split, where were we with that? Nothing new on that? Let's move on. Any announcements?
No, wait, on the mini split, where are we on that? Are we gonna use it or are we gonna put it out to bid?
I thought we were gonna use it down at the mill for farmer's market.
Is there a place to install it? Do you have a wall?
There should be an area down there for it.
Thank you. Any announcements? I'm gonna try to rush us along here. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Eric Shaw's, crosswalk. We do a crop walk for hunger in Charlotte, and I was mistaken on that. So the crosswalk will be Good Friday, April the 3rd, starts at the Grace Brethren Church, ends at the Lutheran Church, starts around 10 a.m. Eric asked me to make that announcement. Then this afternoon, Carl called me. We have this America 250 PA mobile unit request for the Pennsylvania Maple Festival. They're coming April 19th. I sent to you all the specs. They need a 60 by 40 area to set up. People walk through, they have an experience. It's just a one-day thing. Or they could possibly do it on a 50 by 40 flat area. The stairs come off the back. I was hoping here, but I glanced at the front yard coming in. I don't know of any room here. We would have to set it up. So I called Brad, and Napa's willing to put it there. So I just wanted to run it by council. The festival doesn't have room to put it, which is where they kind of wanted it. But I do want to accommodate. They're trying to take this mobile unit around for the experience for the 250th to all 67 counties in the state. And they chose during the festival. So it would be Sunday, April 19th. So what do y'all want to do?
Would that be?
Sure, I'd say we accept it. It's not on our property. Do we have to even?
We ought to probably, we'll at least give notice to Mossholder, so in case something happens.
Okay. So,
Bids on the sweeper. We have one bid, hallelujah. Are you ready for this?
There's a, yeah, you got it.
You're taking good care of me tonight. Huh?
Just don't flex your finger.
I need them. Okay, folks, it is from, what is it? Peter Boy Engine SUC. Pete Brenneman, $800 for the purchase of the sweeper. Peter Boy Engine Service it is. 704 Kinsinger Road, Meyersdale, Pennsylvania, 15552. And his phone number is listed. You can take a look at that, Mr. Mayor. I think that's a pretty good deal for $800. Could we have, yes, it's wonderful. It runs like a, whatever. Could we have a motion to accept the bid, please?
I like that both.
Clarence makes the motion. Okay, thank you, Bob. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We sold the sweeper. Everything's on here. Brian, I guess you want to get in touch with him and make arrangements that they could pick it up somehow, some way. That'll give you more room.
Maybe he has lots of horses to drag it home.
Okay, some of these we've already gone through. Let's try to fly on through here. 200th anniversary banner flags. I'm not sure.
Aaron then has to put that on.
yeah, do we want to put a couple of those up on the gazebo on Amazon? It would be nice for all the music in the park, for community events. You can get 2 for like, I looked today, I have it here. On Amazon, I can get the information to Patty to order. I think like $15 for 2, and I kind of thought it'd be nice to have like 4.
I make a motion, we order 4. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Clarence seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Is it this one here?
Opposed?
$16?
That's fine, yeah.
That is a unanimous vote. We did the Broadway and Grant Street situation. We had a vote. FY 2027 community projects in PA grant opportunity.
That's the federal grant that Guy's office sent to me that we worked with we had done a big grant for this building for about $2 million 2 years ago. Tom and I got it, we went through it. We worked with Kevin to update the numbers and update the work we've completed in the last 2 years on our own. And Jeff and Tom and Patty, I think, submitted it. Did we get the support letters? Did you get those?
I got one.
From,
I got one from Metzger. I'm waiting on Stefano.
because I had texted him and he said he would get on it right
Metzger's
away.
office is gonna automatically just upload it to the.
Remind me, I'll text Stefano tomorrow, because he said he would put it on the fast track. We need it by tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I think at noon.
Yeah. Old holiday wreaths, interest from
Yeah,
someone.
There's some guy, was interested in either having them given to him, or he would be willing to pay $200 for all of them. He said they're really old, they're outdated, they're big. All he would do is just replace the bulbs and hope he could find somebody that he could sell them to for maybe $15.
I'll tell you, the new lights we have up there are really nice. They're nice and bright. It's a big improvement. I don't know that we need to keep those wreaths anymore, but what does everybody else feel?
You can't get a value on them because the company that made them is out of business.
And the $200 falls within the realm you don't have to pay.
Say we charge them $200.
Okay, is that a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Bob makes the motion, Karen seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We keep getting these unanimous votes here. We did High Street. We did the street sweeping, goals and grants, flood control debris basin. I reported that Kevin was supposed to be here tonight, as you remember, but he didn't get the aerial photography or aerial measurements done because of the weather, and he had other plans tonight. I asked him if he would attend next month, so we'll put him first guest in April. 3 to 5 year goal plans. Here we go. Community center improvements. We discussed that somewhat tonight. Update equipment.
We're gonna look for the John Deere.
250th celebration.
What time does that exactly start in the afternoon?
The 4th of July thing.
Yeah, on the 28th.
It's usually around 3 o'clock. We start setting up, out of smoke, the food truck sets up around 3 o'clock, and the concession stand, people from, restaurant users do the concession stand.
Okay, we can talk about the other stuff at the next.
Yeah.
Committee meeting. I'm good.
40-foot flagpole. Was that for here or was that for the park?
We have one at the park.
I don't know, somebody just mentioned 40-foot flagpole as a goal and
I just take that. I mentioned it, but we have to, I'd like to see us get one, a 50-footer for the park, but I just take it off there for now.
Well, question though, if you're having the rope break all the time, shouldn't you keep it on? If you think it's the pulley, I mean.
Well, I'll tell you, those internal white fiberglass internal halyard poles are really nice. The one at my house has been up since 1992.
So years ago, someone in Salisbury, I don't know if it was the VFW or the Legion, talked to Hoover's conveyors, and they donated flagpoles. Those flagpoles are in Salisbury, and they have I believe they have the internal, and to replace anything, they fold down.
Yes.
So they donated them. I'm pretty sure they were free, a donation. If someone wants to talk to Hoover's,
Yeah, Jeremy and I are working on a project now.
maybe they'll donate two flagpoles, one for here, one for down there, for nothing.
That does raise a question though, when you say that, because John Miller stocked some too, and I didn't know that till after we ordered the one for up there. Are we gonna get the park cleaned up before the festival?
We always do, right? That's standard operating procedure. We always do.
So you'll have John come in and do that?
Mhm.
So we'll get a bid on that?
I could call John, see.
The amount, does he do any more work?
I haven't heard, he's contacted me the past 2 years and said, hey, we want to come in and do it. I haven't heard from him yet. I haven't contacted him.
You don't have to get a phone quote because the amount, at least
Right.
what I remember when he bids or charges, if I can get the words out.
Somerset Trust has paid for that for us several times, too.
Okay, increase in police protection. Anything, any comment there from anybody? Storm drain review, mapping and cleaning, these are all goals. That's something. A police SUV and move location of police station to either within the borough shed or as an addition to the borough shed building.
I spoke to Brian, and he said the way it is now, he doesn't have room for all his equipment and everything, let alone taking a section and putting in the police department. So as far as myself, I am against doing it down in the borough shed.
You know, I'm opposed to moving it out of this building. I think any money you would put to add on or build, if we invested it in the building, the police station, we'd be fine here. I just think that we should take that on the agenda.
I will say though, if you leave that in this building, and I'm not speaking for the mayor or the police department, but leave it in the building, there needs to be improvements to not only the walkway and how you access it, because we need to have something, you know, people constantly walk down past the sign. And, you know, that's kind of a liability issue. The access to it itself and the lighting is kind of an issue. And we should have cameras on the outside.
And there's too much, it's
Too visible.
It's way too open for someone to come in there and give the police information.
It is.
So there's no protection there, so, and everybody drives back and forth. If they're bringing somebody in that wants to give information, everybody sees who's going to the police station, and they're automatically going to think they're switching on somebody.
Right.
There has to be something done in front of that, by that entrance.
In reality, too, the security on the inside should be updated, because what I mean by that, in our day and age, when people do things that are just unfathomable, you walk in and you are pretty much open to everything.
What about this? What if we put up like a pole building for equipment storage down across from the old ambulance building? For all your equipment storage and stuff down there?
That would be kind of senseless, because then we.
That's why we bought the old church factory.
Yeah, because then we'd have to travel back and forth for our equipment. I mean, that wouldn't, to me, that wouldn't make sense.
I agree.
That would be, and it's like I was asking Shane now, and Mark, maybe you know this, if they were, and I'm not saying they should, but, and maybe Brian even has input on this, if you would put that police station in our area down there, same rules apply. If they would bring a criminal in there and we're working on our equipment, our shop is open 24/7. Our doors are unlocked. So if we're working on our equipment and say Neil brings a criminal in here, we're going to see who's coming in. I mean, we're going to be right there. Isn't there something there that justifies that? I mean,
There's a lot of, if you're asking me, I mean, there's, things have evolved completely differently anymore with privacy, just people want to be left alone, confidentiality, just also people walking into a station and even be able to see a screen of the computer. That should be hidden, because JNet, that's one of the main things with cleaning JNet. You know, I do, years ago, when Matt was the chief, he was my feedback regarding some of the upgrades that should be downstairs there. The question that you would, on the flip side, Brian, is like, how does Summit do it? Because they're attached to the.
well, they're, aren't they in the back?
They are, they're definitely sealed off and it's no
Yeah,
access.
you'd have to
because
have
you gotta
separation. There's no
You have to
doubt.
have stuff regarding chain of custody.
Yeah.
All those things that, it's a different ballgame anymore for law enforcement and accessibility, and
But with.
we're in a different world anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
We don't.
Without,
I mean, there's just.
I think what you should do is have the police committee take a good look and with the mayor and figure out, you know, because there are updates downstairs that if you're gonna stay here, there should be pursuit of grant money, you know? That committee, thank you, come back.
okay, well, you know what, let's think about that one, and we'll leave it on the agenda and we'll go with it and bring it up again next month. It is 8:20 something. Additional items for discussion. Let's go around the table one more time and then we'll adjourn if there's nothing else. Let's start with Brian this time. We'll go on this side. The mayor. Karen. Bob.
I do. So when I started this endeavor, Mr. President, I was given some advice. Don't be afraid to speak up if you disagree. So what I'm here to tell you is what I disagree with. The president of this council calling other members to solicit their vote to remove our mayor. I didn't get a phone call. Karen didn't get a phone call, and I disagree with the way it's done. You're not a judge, and you're not the governor. You cannot remove an elected member, either a council member or the mayor. So I don't agree with you calling behind our back, violating a law to solicit votes to remove our mayor. And I'm hoping that you don't do this again.
Bob, without getting into it, that's absolutely not true. I've had, you brought it up, I have had more people call me and complain about the situation with the mayor. Now, I don't want to get into it, but what you're saying is a lie. I've had council members come to me, Bob. I never called anybody and solicited anybody.
Okay.
That's a lie. You just told a lie here.
I did not
Absolutely
lie.
wrong.
I did not lie.
Who?
Because a couple of the members who you called Shane. So yes, you did. So you need to stop.
Well, I don't know what they called or what they said, but positively, I've had complaints from 5 council members
Me
here.
personally, when I was first getting on council and I was sitting in your dental chair, you said, I don't even know what we were talking about, something we wanted to get done in the borough. And you said, well, what you need to do, Karen, is it's called politicking. You need to call around and kind of get things lined up before the meeting.
What we're doing is we're
That's
violating.
breaking the law.
You know what, that's HIPAA, I can't even comment on what was
We're
said. in that law.
violating, can I finish? We're violating the Sunshine Act
That's right.
by sending emails out and asking opinions of certain things that are going on in the borough. And without notifying the community, advertising, we're violating that rule.
Name one example. We are allowed
I
to
get emails
give
every day.
information. We're allowed to get information. I'm very careful, Bob, about saying, you know what? This is information, an update. Brian has done this or something but I've been very clear. We cannot discuss things, and you're absolutely right. But I'd like you to, that I've been involved with, I'd like you to give me an example of something that I send an email out asking for an opinion on
You
anything.
made phone calls to members trying to get their vote to remove the mayor.
That's not
Because a
true.
couple of them that you called the mayor.
I don't know who
That
called
is
what.
totally wrong. So who's lying here?
I've had text messages that said, well,
It
listen,
doesn't matter.
I've had
The mayor's
5
residency has nothing to do with us.
5 people have indicated, and I've been getting a lot of complaints about the situation with the mayor not living.
He's a resident of Meyersdale. That's all.
Well, I'm not gonna get into it tonight. I
If you're
don't know.
talking about residency and people who live in here, I lived it.
I
before.
understand.
I lived it here, and be careful what can you open, because there was people soliciting when I was left out of a home, and whether I was
I'm not
serving.
even talking
No,
about that.
Bob, I'm not
even
supposed to talk with
talking
you,
about that.
but if you're gonna.
Well, Bob, let him respond.
Another one. You know what I'm saying? My residency was questioned. I have the records because I did a right to know in this council, well, not the people sitting here, some of you were, in reference to my situation. And people were, I heard it from 2 different former council people that a member of this council currently was soliciting for my removal of the MMA because they were trying to track down my residency. And I have the documentation and the email.
That's not what I'm saying here. When I went up for election. I didn't even bring you up, Brian.
Well,
here's what-
residency's pretty touchy for me.
See, now you
when
wanna
councils
cut
do
me
different
off.
standards.
All I'm saying is, he has residence in Meyersdale, 224 Broadway. It's nobody's business where he lays his head. He also owns a home in South Carolina. So what? It's none of our business.
All I'm saying, when
That's
there are
all
people
I'm
looking
saying.
at residency, I lived it. I lived it, and I have the records from this council or other members of council
Well, I'm just bringing up what went on in the last 2 weeks.
So,
This is news to me, so, but when you hear residency, that I tune
I
in.
don't know, the mayor sent out a big long email about residency.
I don't
No,
know
I
about
just want to touch on it, because to me, it's over with, it's a done deal. It's, the paper is filled out, my residency paper is filled out, it was filled out before I ran for office, it is filled out now. I am a resident of Meyersdale, I have been a resident of Meyersdale, I will be a resident of Meyersdale. Do I own other properties? Yes, I am involved in owning other properties. Is there times where I'm not around? Yes, most definitely. That's nobody's business. But the bottom line is I am a resident of Meyersdale. End of story.
He is a resident, so I say it's over.
Right.
Let's forget about it.
so just to answer what Bob was saying, when it comes to deliberation, any deliberation outside of the open meeting is illegal. And that even goes with in an executive session. So when we're in executive session, we can't vote. We can have an informational discussion, but we can't actually deliberate. And when we send emails, and it got a lot stronger in 2021 with the change in law, but we cannot deliberate. We can give information, you can do those things, but you cannot deliberate. And that's even outside of the quorum. So there's a fine line that happens with having, certain discussions, but you just got to make sure you're not deliberating. What is deliberating? Anything that goes into making that final decision. So as long as we're all following that, we're good.
Is there anything else? Okay. Do you have anything else, Mark?
Nope.
I have nothing. Okay,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
okay. And is there a second? Okay, Ron and Jeff, Clarence thirds it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Everybody